Assalamualaikum, good morning. This is group 8. So I have a few reminders before we start with the presentation. Number 1, the duration is 20 to 30 minutes long. I will remind you when is the time for you to end. Okay, I will put it in the chat box. Number 2, when your friend is speaking, the others please switch off your mic because I do not want to have the audio interruption. And then when you are presenting, I would like you to switch on your camera. Number 3, make sure someone is recording this session. Okay, if possible, have 2 people recording this, right? And then later you share the link of the recording with me in Google Classroom. Number 4, I'm okay when you speak in broken English, meaning that the grammars are all wrong. I think I can understand you, but I would have some slight problem when your pronunciation is not clear. Okay, so when you speak, try your best to make your pronunciation clear, and then when you speak, try not to speak too fast. Okay, speak at a moderate rate because I would like to listen to the content of your presentation. What else? You can start when you're ready. You don't have to ask, Madam, can we start now? Okay, when you're ready, just say, okay guys, we're ready to present, and I'll be ready as well. Okay, all right, so good luck to you. Have fun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay.
Guys, are ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Hi and assalamualaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, especially to Madam Noor Aliza. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. I am Norshahira Afida binti Norazmi, who's actually a representative of students from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris. I am the moderator for the today program named How to Manage Students with Disabilities in the Classroom. Ladies and gentlemen, for the information, disabilities come from various kinds, either it is physically or mentally disabled. But when it's come to handle them, the way is different according to their disabilities. And also, the children are quite a bit sensitive, that we must handle them with extra care. I once joined a trip which is we visited we visited special education school located in Terengganu. At that school, the disability students are divided according to the kind of disability so that the teacher can handle them easily. I was even mesmerized by one of the teachers there. The teacher acts a professional by calmly handle an autism kid who's continuing screaming and hitting her. She just accepting the hit and kindly continue to encourage him to stop and not even raise her voice. By just looking at the situation, I know that every teacher regarding special education need to be skillful enough to handle special needs kids. So here, I bring you our special panelists that come from various backgrounds to reveal the best way to manage them. The first panelist is Mrs. Nursuhada Fitriah, who is a mother of a mentally disability child. The second panelist is teacher Syahirah, who is a special education teacher in SMK Tanjong Malim. The third panelist is teacher Farahana, who is the school principal at Special Education School located in Kuala Lumpur. And the last panelist is Dr. Baiti, who is a pediatrician at Hospital Kuala Lumpur. So here we go for our first panelist. How are you doing, Mrs. Nursuhada?
I'm good, thank you, Syahirah.
Yes, from what we know, that you are a mother of mentally disabled child.
Yeah.
When did you realize that your child has been diagnosed with mentally disabled?
Okay, thank you, moderator. Thank you for the question and thank you for inviting me to give a sharing in this special program with all the special guests. Okay, first of all, let me introduce myself first. Okay, my name is Nursuhada Binti from Kulim, Kedah. I am a mother of two cute kids, which is Hakim, 8 years old, and Adam, 7 years old. I was a kindergarten teacher before, and after Adam had been diagnosed with mental disorder, I decided to be a full-time housewife. As I said, Adam was the one that been diagnosed with mental disability. Adam had attention deficit hyperactive disorder ADHD since he was 5 years old. For your information, based on Pediatrician, ADHD can be diagnosed in children as young as 5 years old, as young as 4 years old. We, as a parent, needs to allow with the symptom that present day by day. In other words, we need to observe them every day. Okay, back to the question. I realized Adam was different with his brother when he was 5 years old, although their age gap are not far, but Adam had extreme behavior compared to Hakim. I also realized Adam had a significant problem, especially in trying to make friends. Adam also can't focus, especially while having an activity. I also asked Adam caregiver about his behavior, about how he interact with other kids, and how he doing while he was at childcare center before. And I collect all the information, and also based on my self observation at home, and I realized Adam was different. And from that day, I do a discussion with my husband and decided to bring Adam to pediatrician check. Thank you, moderator.
Oh, I see what is going on. Adam was really lucky to have a parents like you and your husband, Mrs. Suhada, with both of you were really care of him as both of you continuously observed Adam behavior every day and brought Adam to pediatrician. Thank you, Mrs. Nursuhada. So here we go for the second panelist. How are you doing, Miss Syahirah?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
So Adam, the child that Mrs. Nursuhada mentioned earlier, is your student. So
Yes.
that can you share with us? So that can you share with us how does Adam behave at school?
Okay, thank you to the moderator for the question. But before I answer the question, let me introduce myself. My name is Norshahira Binti Rosli. I am 15 years old. I am a teacher in special education at Sekolah Kebangsaan Kelampau for 6 years and moved to Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tanjong Malim until now. I also have some students who have ADHD and one of them is Arab. Adam was an excellent student in school. Not only that, he's so interested in sport and science activity. Adam suffered ADHD category interview site that is very important teaching and learning in classroom. I have several problems with dealing with her behavior in classroom. Adam, Adam also have low concentration and memory. He cannot focus in a long time during process teaching and learning. Sometimes I need to repeat 2 or 3 times for giving instruction and explanation about topics to him so that he will listen and understand. Not only that, if they have a message that need to be told to them.
Saya rasa line dia tak okey ni.
Hello?
No.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry because my line. Okay, I'm continue. Adam will always disturb his friend in class, and when I get angry, Adam will ignore what I do and say. Besides, he cannot do something in a long time unless her favorite activity. He easily get bored and distracted. Adam also intention student who likes to show emotional anger and use a bad words to friend and teacher. Even more, he also has some positive behavior such as interact with the bright object and have a good communication. So that's a little bit as much I can share about the behavior of Adam with suffer ADHD disorder. Thank you and I pass to the moderator.
Okay, from your explanation earlier, I can see that it's quite hard to handle Adam, who is suffer from ADHD. I hope you're doing good always and keep maintaining your mental and physical health during managing the disability students at your school. Thank you, Miss Syahirah. So here we go for
Sure.
the next panelist. How are you doing, Mrs. Farahana?
I'm good, thank you, moderator.
As we know that you are the school principal of special needs school. What
Yes.
motivates you to become a school principal of special needs school?
Okay, thank you, moderator Syahirah, and thank you for inviting me in this webinar. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Farahana Binti Zamri from Jerantut, Pahang, and I have been a special need teacher for almost 25 years. I started to take interest in special needs teaching as I started my degree with major of special education. Hence, I decided to further more about special needs as I really passionate in finding ways to help and learning more about them. I believe everyone deserves to be treated all the same despite of their condition, and as a teacher, I will gladly help my student lead a perfect education even with the disabilities. Years after I became a special education teacher, I got married and experienced with my own kid that had been diagnosed with dyslexia disorder. So after handling my own child, I decided to open a school that we have all the disability students, so all the mother with all child like mine will not give up in finding the best education for their kids. So now here I am. I am a principal for a special needs school called Wishine Special Education School located in Kuala Lumpur. So yeah, that's all I can say about what motivated me to become a school principal of disabled students.
Oh, I see. So that what kind of disabled students that's your school approve?
Okay. Okay, we accept various kinds of disability students, such as autism, hearing loss, low vision or blindness, hyperactive disorder, and learning disabilities. But currently, the number of students with learning disabilities that registered in our school had been raised to quite a number. Learning disabilities comes with many types of students with conditions such as dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dysgraphia. For your information, our school had many expert teachers in teaching all types of disability students. So we always accept every kind of disability students, but before accepting, we will make sure that the student had been examined by disability experts such as psychologists, pediatrician, and special needs expert to make sure and know precisely what is their disabilities. And that is the kind of disabled student that my school approve. Thank you, moderator.
I'm so glad. Okay, I'm so glad that your school actually offer an education for various kind of disability. Thank you, Mrs. Farahana, for your explanation. So here we go for the next panelist. How are you doing, Dr. Nobaiti? Um, mic, mic, your mic.
Alhamdulillah, I'm pretty good. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, since you are a pediatrician at Hospital Kuala Lumpur, can you always diagnose the patients by just lightly looking at them?
Hi, thank you, moderator, for the question. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I am Dr. Baiti, currently work in Hospital Kuala Lumpur as pediatricians. Okay, simply put, no, even if the patient looks fine, that doesn't always mean that they are. Many invisible disabilities exist and create obstacles for the patient who is a student when they are in the classroom. Examples of invisible or hidden disabilities include chronic fatigue and or pain, mental illnesses such as anxiety, bipolar disorder, or depression, allergies, Crohn's disease or inflammatory bowel syndrome. It causes inflammation of your digestive tract, which can lead to abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, weight loss, and also malnutrition. Next, diabetes, epilepsy, lupus, repetitive stress injuries, asthma and or breathing issues, and also brain injuries. That is so are the examples of the hidden disabilities that is most common in the world.
Oh, I see that coming. But I'm going to ask you something that out of your league. In your opinion, do educators' extra skill regarding special education important to many students in the classroom?
Okay, thank you for special education. Now the best way to handle this child, even though they will be making soup in the class. As an example, there's a student with autism being aggressive to their friends in the class. The teacher should know how to calm this student with autism and know how to control the situation in the class. So for me, teacher skills is really important when it comes to manage this special student in the classroom.
Thank you, Dr. Nobaiti. Ladies and gentlemen, the session not yet end. We're going to have a second round, which is we will provide more information about managing the disabled students. So we are back to our first panelist, Mrs. Suhada. From your story earlier about Adam, I
Yes.
thought you were having a quite rough experience when managing him since you are a full-time housewife. So that, can you share with us any simple tips that you usually do in dealing with your mentally disabled child?
Okay, sure. Okay. Thank you, moderator, for the question. Okay, firstly, we must remember that all children need love, encouragement, support, and for kids that dealing with mentally disability also need encouragement such as positive reinforcement that can help to ensure that they emerge with strong sense of self-worth, confidence, and the determination to keep going even when things are tough. Okay, in searching for tips to help children with mentally disability like Adam, we should always remember that we are looking for a way to help themselves. We as a parent is not to cure the mentally disability, but to give our child the social emotional tools they need to work through challenges. In the long run, facing and overcoming a challenge such as a mentally disability can help our child grow stronger and more resilient. We also have to become our own expert. We must do our own research and keep abreast of new developments in mentally disability programs, therapies, and educational techniques. We may tempted to look to others like teachers, therapy, or doctor for solution, especially at first. But we are the foremost expert on our child. So take charge when it's time to finding the tools they need in order to learn. Okay, to all mummies, as a parent, you should always remember that the way we behave and respond to challenges has a big impact on our child. A good attitude won't solve the problem associated with the mentally disability, but it can give our child hope and confidence that things can improve and they will eventually succeed. We must be an advocate for our child. We have to speak up time and time again to get special help for our child. Embrace our role as a parent and work on our own communication skill. It may be frustrating sometimes, but by remaining calm and reasonable, we can make a difference on our child. Okay, lastly, we can also encourage our children to have healthy emotional habits. Sometimes they may be frustrated by the challenges they presented by their disability, but try to give them outlets for expressing their anger and frustration. Listen when they want to talk and create an environment open to expression. Doing so will help them connect with their feelings and eventually help them to calm themselves and regulate their emotion. Lastly, thank you and good luck mummies out there. We can do it. Yeah, I pass to moderator.
Thank you to Mrs. Nursuhada for sharing a lot of useful tips for the
Yeah,
parent out there
welcome.
when handling their ADHD child. So the next panelist, Ms. Syahirah, is quite tough for you to handle, student like Adam, but can you share with us how you actually manage Adam in terms of learning and management in classroom?
Okay, thank you Cik Syahira, our moderator for the question. Alright, management management Adam who suffer ADHD in learning and classroom is not easy as people think. As a teacher, I will encourage approach that can increase positive behavior and reduce negative behavior. In this case also, teaching aid is important to attract attention and making process learning and teaching more interesting. Not only that, I also use a reward system and system colorful academic token in the classroom. When Adam show negative behavior, I will give some advice to him that when he show positive behavior in one day or one week, he will get a reward such as a gift. Through this, through this system, he will maintain a positive behavior and decrease negative behavior in class. Okay, for the topics explanation or homework in class, I will use a simple instruction and explanation and will repeat 2 or 3 times to Adam. This is because limited words can overcome the often forgotten problem by Adam to remember and focus well in class. Next, I will use a visual and auditory learning to Adam. Adam is kind of student who is not able to do work in a long time. So I have to choose an interesting learning video that have a short time duration. This method, this method can help maintain concentration of Adam, besides improve good vision and hearing. Okay, one tip for management with this ADHD student is we need to know the interest and strength of student and do individual learning plan (RPI). For example, Adam's interest in sport and science activity. So we need to encourage learning through play and 3E method, which is experiment, experience, and explore. Through this, learning will be more systematic and organized. For the classroom management, I will provide special room that called sensory room. This room function as to calm the student who have negative behavior in the classroom. For example, if Adam get upset in class, I will take him out to the room for 5 until 10 minutes to calm down. This can prevent Adam from hurting herself, his friend, and teacher. Okay, other than that, I will put desk Adam close to my desk. This is to control every behavior that shown by Adam. So that's all I can share about management in terms of learning and classroom. Thank you, and I will pass to the moderator.
Thanks for the nice sharing, Ms. Syahirah. It's quite a good tips for a teacher or a teacher to be out there. So here are the questions for the third panelist. Since that you are a special needs school principal, what are the priorities of teachers required in special needs student classes?
Okay, thank you, moderator. In my school, some classes focus more on behaviors than academics. As a teacher, we can see many behaviors acted by the disabled students. There are hyperactive one or even an introvert one who is very shy to communicate with the teachers. So, it is our job to focus on their behaviors and find ways to communicate and learn about their personality. Then, we will continue about the academics. And there are also some teachers that put more emphasis on social needs and integration. For example, students with blindness or low vision need the proper tools and needs to fulfill in order for them to get a better study. So we always prepare stuff and tools such as braille books, projector and speaker to help our students experience a better education session. As I always told my teachers to focus on classroom management as well as the individual needs of each student. In this school, we not only focus in teaching students, but we also make sure that all the teachers get a better emotional support and the perfect equipment to handle disabled students, as it takes a lot of guts and patience to teach them. So I believe that is the priorities of teachers in disabled students class. Thank you, moderator.
Oh, I see. But we know you are the special education teacher before becoming a principal. Then how did you manage to keep up a good performance in teaching disabled students in the classroom during your rookie day?
Okay, how did I manage to keep up a good performance is, okay, there are so many ways we can apply, such as maintain an organized classroom and limit distraction. This is because we can't predict what will happen in handling disabled students. Even one tiny distraction can affect their performance. For example, there is type of disabled that comfortable studying in a room with a dim light and some with a very bright room. So we must keep the classroom comfortable and according to their needs. In teaching, we must break down instructions into smaller and give them a manageable task. For slow learner students, we must carefully give them instructions in order for them to understand and not giving up in studying. For students with blindness and hearing loss, we use musics, voice inflections, and multi-sensory strategies that engage more than one sense at a time. Using sight, hearing, movement, and touch give students more than one way to connect with what they are learning. So that is our secret on how to keep up a good performance in teaching disabled students. So that's all from me, and I get back to the moderator Syahirah. Thank you.
Thank you to Mrs. Farahana for lots of nice tips. Then here come the question for Dr. Nobaiti. From your perspective, doctor, do the learning style for students with disabilities same with normal student? Should the teacher apply the learning style method to the student with disabilities?
Okay, thank you, moderator. For the normal student, there are three categories of learning styles, which is visual learner, auditory learner, and kinesthetic learner. Okay, for visual learners, students learn best by seeing or reading, do well when material is presented and tested visually rather than verbally, benefit from written notes, directions, diagrams, charts, maps, and pictures. They also may love to draw, read, and write, are often good at spelling. Okay, for auditory learners, students learn best by listening, do well in lecture-based learning environments and on oral reports and tests, benefit from classroom discussions, spoken directions, and study groups. They also may love music, language, and being on stage. And last, for kinesthetic learners, students learn best by doing and moving, do well when they can move, touch, explore, and create in order to learn. Benefit from hands-on activities like classes, props, skits, and field trips. They also may love sports, drama, dance, material arts, and crafts. In my opinion, it is different style of learning when it comes to disability students. For example, even though they are visual learner, but they are vision impaired, they cannot apply this method. Maybe teacher can try another method of learning like using audio or enhancing vision through touch. Okay, thank you, and I give to the moderator Syahirah.
Thank you, Dr. Nobaiti, for the useful tips. It is such a blessing if a teacher knows immediately the suitable learning style for the special needs students by just simply observing them. But we know that the suitable learning style for each student is quite hard to guess and it's taking time. So that the question and answer sessions end, so that's the question and answer sessions end. The things that I can conclude are all the human beings that related to the disability child should have the awareness to manage and handle them carefully. There's also a lot of tips sharing by all of the panelists that will be useful someday for us if we later become parents or teacher. One of the interesting tips shared by Mrs. Suhada earlier is the parents must encourage their children to always having a good and healthy emotional habits. For me, controlling the emotions of the children with disabilities is very important because we know that special need kids are really fragile. So that keep listening to them and connecting to them always for an emotional support as a parents. Next, of the tips shared by teacher Syahirah quite grabbed my attention. She used to share about her management skill for ADHD students in the classroom. She said earlier that she enhanced the positive behavior of the students by giving something that they like the rewards. I thought it was very useful and practical tips for the teacher and also for the parents who is having a disability child. Then I also got a good tips from the school principals. Uh, then I also got a good tips from a school principal of special needs, Mrs. Farahana. In her talk earlier, she once said that the teacher have to focus on classroom management as well as the individual needs of each students. For me, it is the truth because there is a different kind of way to manage different kind of categories, to manage different categories of disabilities. So the teacher must be skillful enough to manage more than one student in the special education class. Last but not least, Dr. Nobaiti also shared some useful tips for the teacher, which is the teacher should know the very best way to approach the special needs students with the learning style that may be suitable for them so that they will be encouraged to learning instead of playing in the classroom. Like a kinesthetic learner students, the teacher must teach them using an education video so that they will not get bored easily whenever is the teaching session in the classroom. So that is all that I can conclude from the program today. Thank you so much to all the respective panelists, and also thanks a lot to the audience for staying and keeping up with us until the end of the program. Thank you. That's all
Thank
from
you.
us.
Thank you, moderator.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you,
you very
moderator.
much. All right, I would like to ask one question to each of you. First question goes to Norshahira.
Yes,
Why
madam.
did you want to do this topic for your webinar? What was your intention?
Because
Uh,
uh,
no,
Sorry,
Syahirah.
Norshahira Afida. Sorry.
Okay.
Nama sama.
Okay. Because I thought this is a rare topic. Um, and the teacher and all the teacher to be need to have this skill because they don't even know what kind of thing they will face in the future. Maybe they will have students who actually disability in their school and and they don't have any skill, and if they don't have any skill they can't handle them even though they have some um like a mere disability such as what we call a mere disability that actually everyone can handle. But if he or she watch our webinar, uh, they can actually grab some useful tips to make to make it useful in their future. So that is my intention for doing this kind of topic.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, you want to spread some info to perhaps
Yes.
normal teachers in normal schools, so that if they have, okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, second question goes to Nursuhada Fitriah.
Yes,
Okay, my
doctor.
question to you is, Madam.
Yes.
Okay, my question to you is, um, what part of this webinar you think can be improved to make this a better presentation?
Presentation.
Dari
Okay,
saya.
thank you, doctor. Okay, what parts of this webinar to be improved? Okay, I think we have to improve our communication, our cooperation on communication, because we have to be like more enjoy our webinar and more like um, more like what we call
lively.
Yes lah. Enjoy our session and do so that the audience can enjoy with our session, not too formal lah, not too formal. Okay, and then the next improvement that we can do is we have to more pack on our notes on our sharings on our sharing on our okay, that's all I think.
Okay, thank you very much. So basically, you're saying two things. One, you think you can improve on your presentation skills. Because this is a good topic. You can attract the attention of the audience more by being more lively, using gestures, and not looking too much at your notes. Okay, and then try to like vary the tone of your voice. And then secondly, um, information. So you need to have more information. I was waiting for more information just now. Something that I don't know. Okay, I do have a few, but I wish I could have more. Right? Okay, thank you, Shuhada Fitriah. Third question goes to Norshahira Rosli.
Yes,
Norshahira
madam.
Rosli, my question to you is, if you can have a different webinar, what topic do you want to do on?
The topic I want to do is game. I like the game.
Okay, can you please
Like
example?
like sport. For example, how to tips for the healthy our body.
Or meaning that you like to have a webinar focusing on sports and where
Stay healthy.
where sports can make you be healthier. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Thank you very much, Syahirah. Next question,
Welcome
Farahana
back.
Zamri.
Yes, madam.
Uh, my question is, what is the biggest challenge that you have to overcome in preparing for this webinar?
Okay, the biggest challenge that I have been faced is maybe about my first of all, I am not a student in special needs, so I will have to make a more research about the special needs education and about how the principle of special need education think. So secondly, the obstacle that I have to face is I am a bit shy person, so it's a lot of a big thing for me to speak in front of the people, even on the online sessions. And so yeah, that's all I think the obstacle that I have to face during this webinar. Thank you, madam.
All right, thank you. Thank you. But you're doing good actually. No worries about that. All right.
Thank you,
And then
madam.
last question, yeah, welcome. Last question, Baiti. Now, Baiti, um, what should I ask you? Are you doing your program in what area? You're doing your degree in what area? You are doing your
I
degree
don't
in, sorry?
what special?
ISMP, bidang apa?
Oh, ekonomi rumah tangga.
Oh, ERT. Okay, all right. Uh, so, okay, let me see what can I ask you. Do you think webinar is a good assignment for students to do to test their speaking skills?
Yes. I think webinar is good for speaking. Webinar is good for speaking learning because me Nervous sekali sebenarnya. Ya Allah, sorry madam. Aduh. Sekejap. Sorry, I slow about speaking English. I know. Webinar make make students behave to speak and
It can train you, right?
yes. Can enhance our speaking. Ini cakap lagi. Sorry, madam.
Okay, thank you very much. No problem. Okay, I think you're too nervous to speak. Okay, so okay, thank you ladies for your effort. Okay, good job. I have to also congratulate you guys for this good job you have done. Fun information and presenting this webinar. Okay, so let's move on to the next presentation. So I have to leave this group and then listen to the next presentation from group 4. Okay, so again, thank you very much for your hard work to make this a successful webinar. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you too,
Thank
madam.
you, madam. Waalaikumsalam.
Bye.
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 Madam,
Thank you, madam.
sorry, madam. Bye.